Waalaikumsalam, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam, ya.
Okay, so this is our last class and our last chapter, evaluating and terminating projects. So this is the end of this course. Chapter 8, there's no calculations. It's just only talking about evaluating and terminating the projects, and somehow considered like an extension of last chapter, which is monitoring a project. So this chapter is going to cover evaluation, project auditing, and also project termination, which is the last things of any project, or the last point of the cycle of any project. So we will be covering or discussing about appraising the progress of projects and its performance, and somehow like means of evaluation, which is we are going to see the project evaluation criteria. And also we are going to see the formal process of auditing, and we are going to consider a terminating of a project and what type of terminations and the process of the termination itself. So the first thing in here for this chapter is the evaluation part. So what's the evaluation? Evaluation, that means you need to set a value of quality or the set of a price. The evaluation appraisals in any projects could be with these 3 points. The first one is the quality of the progress of the project. Is the first one. And also the performance of the project. This is considered also as a value. And also the project against the goals and the objective of the organization. So this is the 3 appraisals of any project's evaluation. So the evaluations is made sometimes relatively with the other similar projects. So that means if you finish this project, current project, if you finish it and you evaluate it, if you are going to start a new project, so the old project is considered as relative to the project if they are similar. Project evaluations for after the fact analysis. So that means if you want to evaluate a project, this will be coming after you've done the analysis. So you are going to analyze after you are making all the monitorings, after you are collecting all the data, you are going to make the analysis. So that means you can now evaluate the project. And the evaluations sometimes for the number of the crucial points during the project life cycles. Maybe sometimes the project itself, it's dividing into some points. This point is really crucial for the project itself. So after each point, maybe you need to do some evaluation. So this is what is the evaluation of the crucial points during the project life cycle. What's actually why we are doing the evaluation? This is to give a feedback to the senior management. Okay, so the purpose of making evaluation is to give the feedback to the management. Why we wanted to give it to the management? So they can make a decisions and control purpose. So this is the purpose of it. And why actually we need to control? What's the purpose of the control purpose? It's to improve the process to carry out the project, and to also to make a decision to improve the selection process. So that means maybe we are evaluating some crucial points. So we report or we give a feedback to the management. So the management, they are going to control it and give a decision to improve the process. So the use of the post-project evaluations, this is to help the organization to improve its projects management skills in the future projects. And most effective project evaluations, if we already have it, so if there is already project management guidelines and manual detailing standardized projects management, this is for improvement. So the evaluation criteria, there will be many different measurements, so it's not standard. So there will be different measures of applied, and also particular areas or to be evaluated for future planning decision, and also will be involving evaluations committee. So this will make you wondering about was the project or the current project is someone's sacred cow, was the project is a competitive necessity? How actually is this project or the progressing on these projects on such a criteria? Did scoring model is identifying particularly important quantitative or qualitative reasons to select this project? Any special reasons for selection should also play any roles in here? So there's a lot of questions how about to make the evaluation criteria. But it's for routine projects or projects that it's expected for this the goal and objective. The mostly selecting criteria is the funding. So selecting funding projects, this is the first one. Original criteria for selecting and funding projects. Why? Because most of the companies or the organizations, they are looking for the profit, and also they are looking for getting a foothold in a new market segments, and also for acquiring new competence for the organization. So this is the main key to compete with the current markets. Let me answer my RP students. Okay, the second criteria is the success to date. This is the four important dimensions of any project success. The first one is the project efficiency in meeting the budget and also the schedule. You can see from here, this is what we call is the project efficiency, because you are meeting the budget plan and also the schedule plan. So you are success to the date. And also it's the customer impact and satisfaction. Okay, business and direct success. So this is external projects. That means this is the factor for such level of commercial success. And also for the internal projects, this is the achievements for the goals to improve yields for the throughout the time. Okay, the last one for the fourth success or the important, it's the future potential, which is this is establishing presence in new market. This is exactly the same like I said here, getting a foothold in the new market. Third one is contribution to organization goal, because if you success and evaluation criteria, it's already perfect, and the evaluation is showing you the quality. So this is also considered as a contributions to the organization goal or the vision and mission. Contribution also to the team member objectives. There will be a lot of items you are going to be considered for the project and evaluations and reports recommendations. So that means you need to involve the communications with the clients and the management. Also locating for the opportunities for the technological advance, reductions of indirect and direct costs, improving the project management process. Of course, if you are identifying the risk in the organizations, that means for the future projects, you are going to be avoid those types of risk because you already identify them. You are going to be utilize the skills and resulting from the project's members works on the projects. Employment of the general management experience, you are going to gain experience. Improving organizations' use of projects, increasing the speed of obtaining results from the projects because you already had the experience from running multiple projects. How is the measurements? Of course, when you are going to be measured in a project performance, you need to measure it against what you had planned before. So that means evaluate, and you need to test the performance against what you have planned based on the budget and based also on the schedule, both on these two. Straightforward, and it's not too difficult to determine. And also because we know that it's several times till the project is not going to be goes same like that what we have planned, so there will be some complications in the middle regarding the measurements. Of course, expenditures maybe it's not going to be same like as we have planned, and also you're going to see the earned values, as well as also reporting on difficult technical issues maybe you're going to be faced, and may you have been also deterred while the progress was being made along with other fronts. How also you need to gather the data, so you need to do the interviews, questionnaire methods for gathering the data must be also carefully constructed and executed. This is to make us easy to make a measurement. Measuring the project success on budget and schedule. This is important for the performance and easier for the measuring revenue of qualitative subjects factors. Remember, it's the measurements of the budget and also the schedule and the performance. So now let's move to the project auditing. So the definition is the project audit is through examinations of the management of a project and also examinations of the methodology. So you are examining the management, examining the methodology and the procedure, records, properties, inventories, budget, expenditures, progress, and so on. So this means almost everything in the project. Okay, so this is meanings of the definition. The definitions of audit, examinations of all those elements. But you need to put in your mind, it doesn't mean because most of the people, they are thinking that it's audit, that's mean I need to just only looking for the financial audit. Actually, it's project auditing. It's looking for all those aspects, even including the financial audit. So project auditing, the scope of it, you need to find the difference between and don't compare it just only to the financial audit only, because the scope is really huge. You may also deal with the whole or any parts of the project. This is why I said it's auditing can audit the whole or any parts of the project, and it's very flexible. It can start anytime and can just looking all for any parts of the projects, can move to another projects, can take it all, and also can be focused on any issues of interest to a senior management. And you need to differentiate between the project auditings and traditional management audit. Traditional management audit is just only focused on the organization management and the system and operations. Project auditing, as I told you, it's involved in the projects, looking for the management, methodology, procedures, records, properties, inventories, budgets, a lot of things. So the audit process, why actually we conduct audit in an early stage? This is a good practice. If you're making an audit in an early stage, so that means you are going to avoid any problems, because early problems will lead to the easier solution. If you find any problems before it's becoming big, so this is easy for you to find a good solution for it. And because usually it's focused on technical issues. So early audit, it's focused on the technical issues. So what criteria focus on the later audits? Later audits, it's morely to budget and for the schedule. Why? Because all the technical issues is already solved from the previous stage. So typically of less value of the project team and also from interest from the general management. How about post-project audit? This is often contractually it's required by the customers. So it's mostly we are making the post-audit. It's to satisfy the customers or to give a report for the customer for a common and also for the ingredients in the final project reports. So we are making the post-audit to finalize the project reports, final project reports. So there will be 3 levels of audit: general audit, detailed audit, and technical audits. General audit is usually constrained by the time and cost, and also limited to be a brief investigations for the project essential at the starting of the project, and it's brief, like a summary. It's not going for details. We are going to use the detailed audit if the general audit here shows some issues, so you go for the detailed audit. So this is often initiated if general audits find some that needs further investigations. If there is an issue from the essential project's investigation, so this means you need to go for the detail to find those issues. Technical audits is usually performed by the person or team that having a special technical skills. Okay, so this is going for on the site itself. And this is the values for the project audits. We are having initiation, feasibility study, preliminary plan, schedule, budgets, master schedule, evaluating of the data by project teams, implementations, post project. So this is the timing and the value for each audits. What steps actually to make a project's audit? First, the team that they are going to audit, they need to be familiarized with the requirements of the project. So you are going to set up or to are going to make a team to audit any projects. You need to make them familiarized with the requirements of the projects. So this is going to be including its basis of selection and also special charge by upper management. So the upper management, they are going to give the special charge for each selections for the audit team. So there will be an audit team on the site, and also writing up an audit reports, because once you make the team and once they are going to audit on the site, the most final steps that you need to write the reports and the format of the report, the clients, the customer, you are going to give it to the top management. So this is the 4 steps. You need to get familiar with the projects. You need to go on the site to audit. Then you need to come up with the reports, and you need to distribute the reports. So this is some examples of how to collect the data using forms. So this is form number 1, form 2. So there's a lot of forms that you can use to help you to collect the data. The auditors, collecting the project name, who is the project manager, and when he start, the due date for the projects. You have also financial schedule data, technical data. So what's the advantage, disadvantage, or what you're going to see from the behavior aspects of the audits? Because most of the people, they don't like the auditors. Audit team must have free access to anyone with the knowledge of the project. When you are going to be working with the team of the audits, all the information is going to be available with you, and you can ask anybody about to answer your questions. So to be effective, information will come from project teams record or from various departments, such as accounting, human resource, and purchasing. So all the information will come from all the team of the projects, and you are free also to ask. The problem is project team members rarely trusted auditors. When you are going to audit any projects, the project teams, they don't like you, and they don't trust you. So project team members rarely trusting auditors. So this will lead to distrust, and also they will lead for you that it's really hard to get the information. So the information the editor will require will be difficult to obtain, because the project team or the team members from the projects, they don't trust you. Audit team also must understand is the politicals of the project teams. You are going to go for a project, so you need to understand the politics of the project team and the interpersonal relationships also. And it's better for you not to involve in this politics. So you need to be neutral. You are not taking any parties. So either to rebuff the team's investigations or co-obtain them. So as much as possible, the audit team should attempt to remain neutral and not become involved in the politics for the project teams. Because at the end, you just only want to make a report. Another thing is also you want to be sure it's information must be confirmed. You are going to ask for questions, you are going to be asked for the evidence. At the end, if the information that you had it's not confirmed, if cannot be so confirmed, you should not be used. Okay, make sure about this. Confirm. Project team should also be made aware of in-process audit. When you are going to go as a team to audit any project, so all of you will need to be worked in concurrence and everything is revealed between all the teams. So you are going to be avoid any misunderstanding. Okay, and also this is important. No judgmental comments. When you are going to finish and you are going to make your reports and you want to conclude it, make sure that you are not making any judgment. So judgment should be avoided except if you are going to go for official hearing or reports. So no judgment or comment should be made in any circumstances that does not represent the consensus opinions of the audit team. So that means you are not blaming anybody. You are the name. You are not going for personnel. The specific format. So the data should be carefully checked and all the calculations is verified. Okay. So all the calculations verified. Deciding what to be included and what to exclude in the also is important. So the audit report should be written with the constructive tone or project's model. So that means it's easy for the persons to read it. And the report's information should arrange also you are having facilitate the comparison between the plan and what's the actual results. And also it should have a footnotes or a comments about any significant deviation. So if you have any significant deviations between what we have planned and what's going on actually for the real world, so you need to have footnotes and also comments on that. Negative comments about individuals or group, this should be avoided. This is why I said in here, no judgment or comments. So negative comments should be avoided. This is important. The report should be written in clear, professional, and emotional style, and its content restricted to the information of the issue relevance. Okay, so you are writing professionally reports toward the issue. So what's the section actually you are going to make it for you to write the audit reports? The first one is introduction. This is a brief descriptions of the project. The current status, this is to make a comparison between the actual work and what we had planned before. Okay. Third section is the future conclusions regarding the project process. You need to make a critical measurement issue. If you find any issue that the auditor feels senior management should monitor it, so you need to identify it here. Risk analysis and risk management. This section, you need to address any potentials for project's failure or monetary loss. So the major risk here associated with the projects and the project's impact to the schedule, cost, performance should be identified at this section. The final one, which is important here, it's the final comments. This section contains caveats, assumptions, limitations, and informations applicable to other projects. So any comments in here is going to be good for any future projects to be avoided. So this is considered as an addition lesson learned from this audit. This is type of the examples of the sections that we just talked about right now. You can see from here we are having introductions, current status, future project status, critical analysis, risk analysis, and also this is the final comments. Okay, so last part of the chapter 8 is talking about the project terminations. Sometimes we need to terminate the projects because it's not maybe achieving the goals, or it's going to be difficult to achieve the goals, or because some organization's policy. So If you're going to terminate the projects, what's the impact of terminating a project? If you terminate a project, it's going to have an impact on the quality life of the organizations, of course. And also it's going to be impact on the success of the project itself. And also the major effects on residual attitudes towards the project held by the senior management, also by the clients, the project teams, and even other organizations. And the major effects on organization success in the project's future. So this is the impact, what's going to be happening if you are terminating a project. But sometimes it's necessary actually to terminate a project. So what's the major criteria if you want to terminate the project? The major criteria to terminate a project, whether the organization is willing to invest a time and cost required to complete the project. If suddenly it's an organizations want to terminate the projects, they are going to look into two criteria here. They are going to look at the degree of project has met its goal and objective. If the degree of achieving the goals and the objective it's really high, and the organization is willing to invest extra time and extra cost, maybe they are going to look for not to terminate the projects. So that's why we're saying here the two criteria is important. The degree of which the project has met its goal and the objective, and also the degree which the projects qualify against set of factors generally associated with the success or failure. If the organization sees a lot of factors towards failure, so this means, of course, you're going to go for a termination process. Here is the most highly ranked factors that consider for terminating a project. This is based on 1968. It's very old, but still valid. Most of the companies they are reporting for the factors of terminating a project. They are back to the factors of technical, and you can see from here there is about 34. This is because low probability of achieving technical objectives or commercializing results. This means after you finish the projects, maybe you cannot commercialize it. So this is the factor of morely high. Technical or manufacturing problems cannot be solved with the available R&D skills. This is 11. Okay, and so on. You can see all those factors in here. So the project terminations, if the project hasn't met its goal, the time has come to shut down it. So this is the most important reasons of early terminations of the projects. Likelihood, it will be technical or commercial failure, as we said it in here. Technical or commercial failure, this is the highly why we are shutting down or terminating a project. But there will be 4 generic factors associated with this. The 4 generic factors associated with the project success is the efficiency of the project execution. If the project manager and the top management, they are efficient in a project execution. If the customer satisfaction is high, so this is lead to the success of a project. The impact on the firm conducting the projects, this is will lead. Also the contributions to the project's firm future, this is will lead to the success of any project. So project terminations, there will be 5 fundamental reasons of project failure. This is the 4 fundamental reasons why the project will be failed. If the project was not required for the task in the first place, so it means sometimes you want to make a project, but actually that project you shouldn't do it. There is no necessity to do it. So of course it will fail. Naming a wrong project manager. If you are giving your project to a wrong project manager, the project manager maybe he has excellent technical skill, but actually he is not a leader. He cannot do the managerial skill. So of course your project will fail. Insufficient supports from senior management. So that means if the top management they are not supporting the project will fail. Poor up for planning. If you didn't plan it well, of course it will fail. So this is the 4 fundamental reasons why the project will fail. So this will lead for those questions to be in mind. Which projects have a legal strategic imperative? Okay. Which project is luxurious? Which projects are likely to derive future revenue and growth for the organizations? Which project is best for matching our skill sets and strength as an organization also? What are the potential risks to the business if we don't service the demands for the project's deliverables? You can see from here, this is most of the factors that it's why the project could be failed. Incomplete requirements, lack of user involvement, lack of resources, unrealistic expectation. You can see from here, it's high. Lack of executive support, it's high also. Changing requirements. Changing requirements, that means the plan is poor. Lack of planning, absence of need. So this means no response that why I need these projects. Lack of IT management, technical literacy. So all these factors can lead for project termination. So what type of project termination? Will be four type of project terminations. The first one is extension, addition, integration, and starvation. So the extension, this is the first one of project terminations, is occurs when the project activity suddenly stop. But actually, there is an equipment, there is a materials, there is a personnel, but the project is stopped. So the project actually will be terminated because maybe it's successfully completed or because the exceptions on failure was high. So this is what we call is the project extension. It has two possibilities, whether the project is successfully completed or the expectation of failure is high. So if it's successfully completed, this is good. It's already deliverable to the clients. But if the failure is high, so the failures maybe occur when the project no longer meets the cost and benefits criteria. So the top management, they start to see that there is no benefits is coming back from these projects. So this is the expectation of failure. So the project is going to be facing extension, or when the project's process yield may have been too low. And also one special type of terminations could be also called as a murder. The second type of project termination is addition. So this is occurs when in-house, that means there is another project successfully completed. So that means you are going to terminate it to be included into different projects, but still in the same organization. Okay, so this may take a form of adding a department. That means instead of I'm saying that this project it's fail or a failure, I department as a different department or different division, but it's still going to be in the same organization entity depending on the magnitude of the importance of the project. So sometimes the project team members become managers of a new entity. So this means the people from these projects we are going to terminate, they are going to be used as a manager in the new entity or into the new project. Termination by integration and somehow looks like addition. So with the termination by additions, the projects probably often is simply transferred into an existing or newly created organization's project or entity. But with the terminations by integration, the output of that will become as a standard parts of the operating system of the sponsoring firm or for the clients. So we are using the output from the projects as supporting operating or a system for the sponsoring firm. Starvation's termination, this occurs when the in politics to terminate a project, but the budget can be squeezed. So this means taking the portions of these projects as a small cuts to supporting for the project's names only. Okay, so the projects may have been suggested by special clients or by the senior executive, example as like Scott Cow, or perhaps terminating the projects would be embarrassing acknowledgements of the management failure. So they cannot announce its failure, so they are start to taking the starvation. So they are start to taking or squeeze the budget from that project. The termination process, actually, it's when it's happening, the routine to be done for terminating projects, it's coming from based on the committee or responsibility by the senior executive. It's not by the project manager. So this means the decision of terminating a project or the process, it came from the senior executive or from the committee. But usually the project manager will be asked to close up to close out the project. So the one is executing the manager, but the decision is not coming from the project manager. But this one can raise the variety of problems because the project manager is not disinterested in or the bystander for the project. And we believe that it's better to appoint specialists in a process of termination. So it means project manager here, he is not the one is going to be carrying out the termination process. It's supposed to be appointing or hiring someone specialized in process of terminations. We will call it is the termination manager. So what's the role of the project manager in termination process? The project manager here needs to make it clear and mid-project's resignation as well as the tenure for the life are both unacceptable. This means he needs to show that it's legal and the life of the projects to be as a mid-project in here is going to be clear out, and facing the termination decision, it's timely and straightforward manner will pay dividends to the project manager as well as the termination manager in a smooth project transition. So both of them, they are going to be cooperating to make the smooth transitions of terminating the project. So this is the termination projects hierarchy. This is what you're going to see. If a project is going to be closed out, so this is the transitions or the things that they are going to be terminated. So you are looking for the organization itself, let's say for the team management and the financial, purchasing, and also for the sites, for the equipments. So you need to look for the closing out the needs for the organization. You need to prepare for the resignation plan and also the personnel reports. If you're talking about the financial, so of course there will be charge audit and collect the receivables and the final reports. Purchasing, of course, you need to clearance the compliance. You need to compile the documents. So you need to give a notifications for the suppliers, and also you need to clear out the final payments. For the sites, you need to shut down the facilities or close down, and also you need to check how will be the equipments and also the materials will be disposed. This is for the project management. So termination management or the termination manager, what's his duties? You need to ensure the completions of the works, including that of the contractors. So this means when you are looking in here, you need to make sure about finishing all this. Ensure that the documentation is complete, including the project's final reports. As we can see from here, we need to make the compilations of the documents. Notify the clients or the project's completions and ensure that delivery all the installations are accomplished. Clear all the accounts, financial accounts, documentations or final billings, also invoice. Means that we need to clear up all the financial. Clear the projects with the legal console, including fillings of the patents and also recording the archives, determining what records to be kept, deliver, and be safe for the response for the peoples. Certainly for the project supports requirements, oversee the closing of the project books. And at the end, of course, you need to have what we call here, it's the project final reports. The project final reports is not same like the auditing. Project final reports here we are talking here is like the history of the project. starting from the project, how it start till the last. So whether it's going to be good or whether it's going to be bad. So the project final report is not considered as evaluation. So it's not part of evaluation. It have, with the exceptions of written report, the project final report is considered as the history of the project. So it's a chronicle typically written by the project manager. So it's a history of the projects written by the project manager, and you need to be mentioned here what went right and what went wrong, and who served the projects with the capacity, and what was done and how it was managed, and also the lesson learned. So that's why we call it here, it's the history. So the report should also indicate where the resource materials can be found, the project plan, and many parts like charters, budget, schedule, earned value, audit report, scope, any change on documentation, any change of the plan, resource allocations, all the updates. The items should be found in the final reports is the project performance, how the administrative performance, how also the organization structure, how the project team works, how the project management techniques, and also need to do the fundamental purpose of the final report is to improve the future projects. The purpose of it for the final report is to improve any future projects, and also needs to have recommendations for improvements, especially for appropriate and value of the organization. Of course, none of the recommendations for the improvements of the future project will be helpful. However, the recommendations are not among the project manager. Project manager should also follow up any recommendations made to make sure that is the accepted for installing or rejecting for the course. Most of the information regulations from the project manager is suggested that the project manager keep the projects. This is considered as a diary. Not only will the diary help the project manager to construct the final reports, but also it can superior sources for wisdom of the new inspiring projects. So this is what will help us for any future projects. As a conclusion for this chapter, you need to know that projects are usually terminated based on the degree of which the meeting their goals or achievements, and also the degree which they qualify on factors showing to be links to the success failure in other projects. Okay, so they are looking for these two criteria here for terminating any project. So the most common reason of early termination is the probability of the technical or commercial failure. As we saw from the slides in here, we are saying is because the technical or commercial failure, because most of the companies, they are looking for the profits. A highly factor for failure of any project is the technical and commercialization failure. If you cannot commercialize it, so more probably you are going to be terminated early. And the 4 types of project terminations are extension, addition, integration, and also starvation. Conclusion also, the termination decision should be decided by the management. It's not by the project manager. Okay. By management committee, run by the termination manager. Okay. So project manager here is not involved in termination. It's just only the termination manager. He is going to be run and execute the project termination itself. Placing the project team members in a new assignment is practically important aspect terminations. So the project manager should be prepare a project's final report. So when the project is going to be terminated, project manager, he needs to prepare the project final report that makes recommendations for improving the organization future projects and management practices. Okay, what I said in here for the project and terminations, I hope that is most of you now can go for Ireland or UFuture. You are going to see here chapter week 13, chapter 8. There are some videos in here I put to show how the project is going to be termination. no worry, those videos is not long. I think the longest one is duration is about 6 minutes, but it's in a nice way they are showing to you how we can make project termination or project closure. This is the way, if you see it here.
Imagine sitting inside, glued to your computer. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping.
Okay, so this is explaining how to closing a project. So it's 3 minutes. You can look at all those videos, 4 videos, will really help you to more clearly understand. And also for project audits, this is the way also how they're making a project audit. And this is the slides in here. So this is the last thing. By the way, this is the URL for the attendance, if you got it from here. So this is the last thing for our course. So if you have any questions, please do ask. If not, this is the attendance. So I'm expecting for you, you are going to submit your assignment on Friday. Okay. Another thing is I want to tell you, it's for many projects and to create a folder on the Google Classroom. So you are going to upload your recorded video on Google Classroom. Then I'm going to review it back. So I hope that also you are filling up the survey that it's the resource person is sending. I send it in the group. If you have any questions, please do ask. If not, so this is the last thing for our course today. If I'm going to teach you in another course, I will see you again in different semester, inshallah. Thank you all. Take care. So we are expecting test 2. It's coming, and maybe I think next week, or I'm not sure about the date. I will ask the resource person and again to inform you through the WhatsApp. If you have any questions, please do ask. If not, so thank you all. Good luck for the rest of the course. Any question?
No, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, so once I'm going to create the mini projects classroom, I'm going to inform you in WhatsApp, inshallah. Thank you all. Take care. Don't forget to sign the attendance, please.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.